you've made it. Video 9 of 9 on my series of how to create your own workouts. Let's dive into it. So wrapping up this series. First off, I'm Kelsey Nanini, certified strength and conditioning specialist and certified nutritionist. I help you go from frequent gym goer to strong, confident, educated athlete. And that's why in this video, I'm going to briefly overview the 7 principles of program design to bring this 9-part series all together. And if this is the first video of the series you're watching, I highly recommend pausing here because they are all in order purposefully. So you can go back to video 1, which is the introduction, and watch from video 1, come back to this video later. By now, I hope you have a better understanding of each of these 7 principles. But how do you make workouts from it? There are a few things you need to know before that. So when we're thinking of creating workouts, we want to think of it in the broad scope of things, the macro, if you will, which is the macro cycle. This can last anywhere from a few months to a year. Then we move into the mesocycle, which typically lasts about 2 to 6 weeks. This would be a period where you are doing the same workouts. Maybe you're progressing them in some way, but they're typically designed the exact same way with the same setup. Then we have the microcycle, which would essentially be one small phase of that mesocycle, or really like 1 week of training, 1 week of your training split. Now, when you are creating your program, looking at that overarching long-term plan is crucial. It is so important in building your plan so that you know the long-term goal. Now, I'm not going to dive super deep into how to create your macro, meso, microcycle because that is a whole video all within itself. So maybe comment below, let me know if you'd like to see that in a later video so I can continue to create content that helps educate you on your fitness journey. To overview all the steps we've covered in order. So we started with needs analysis. This is essentially the requirements and characteristics of the sport and or goal and an assessment of the athletes and what they need. Then we moved into exercise selection. This is choosing the proper exercises for you or your client, the goals, and specific types of movements such as compounds and accessories and how to play around with those together. Other important things to remember there was the equipment availability and the time you had available. Number 3 was training frequency. So a lot of this goes into obviously the goal, your training age, your experience with training, all of that. Another piece of it goes into the time you have available. If you don't have time to work out 5 times per week, find a way to work out 3 times per week. But also remember that once you reach a certain training age where you're an advanced athlete, training 4 times per week may actually be necessary to elicit a response. That's a small detail and it is subjective, but important to remember nonetheless. Then we moved on to number 4, which is exercise order. Yes, the order of your exercises matter. You want to work the multi-joint, larger muscle groups first, aka your power and core exercises or compound exercises. Then we would move into more of your accessory work, which is smaller muscles, single joint exercises, the things that are going to require less of your body and will be less taxing. Number 5 was your load and reps. How to discover that relationship between the two. I had that 1 rep max table that, again, sort of subjective, but the gist of it is important to know. And ultimately just remembering that there is indeed an inverse relationship between the load, aka the weight you lift, and the reps you complete. Number 6 ties into number 5, which was volume. This is bringing together not only just the reps and the load, but also the sets. So your entire volume as a whole and what amount of volume is needed to achieve a stimulus based on your goal. And lastly was rest. Yes, your rest matters and please don't neglect this. Depending on the goal, you need to be resting in between your sets in order to continue to train at the intensity and output the effort needed to again achieve the stimulus. Following these steps in order allows for you to create an effective training program. You'll be able to not only add in the proper exercises based on your goal and your history, your experience, all of that. But you'll also be able to put them in the proper order with the proper overall volume and the proper rest time, all of which are important for the longevity of your training and ultimately reaching the goal that you have in mind currently. So if you need to, go back through the videos, take detailed notes on exactly what to do, and then implement it. And in no time, you are going to be a programming pro and be well on your way to achieving the goals of your dreams. If you have any questions, make sure to drop them in the comments, as well as any suggestions you have for me for future videos. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, as well as all the prior videos, because it tells me that I'm doing something right, but it also supports me and continues to help grow my page. And also, don't forget to subscribe for more helpful content like this one.